Dr. King claimed that psychologists have given us a great word, namely the word maladjusted. King acknowledged that maladjustment is a good word because it declares that destructive maladjustment should be destroyed so that we can enjoy the well-adjusted life. Dr. King, on that day, argued on one hand that there are some things we should never become adjusted to: racial discrimination, racial segregation, religious bigotry, economic exploitation, and militarism and physical violence. Dr. King insisted that we should practice creative maladjustment to rescue the world from the deep inhumanity and bring us to true freedom and justice. On this day, we celebrate the 40th anniversary of Dr. King's birthday being signed into law as a national holiday. I say that we should finally do what Dr. King wanted us to do and practice creative maladjustment. Thus, I have given my address for you today the title, Creative Maladjustment. Let us admit right now, right off the bat, that we are living in an era of destructive maladjustment. We have recently lived through a period of grave political maladjustment. During this time, political institutions of our country were attacked. The political traditions of our country were shredded. The political virtues of our country were trampled underfoot. In this time, we witnessed the normalization of things that should never be normal: deep bigotry and profound intolerance. We witnessed the rise of figures who were destructively maladjusted to truth as they told bold-faced lie after bold-faced lie. We witnessed figures who instigated open rebellion against our government in the streets. We witnessed figures who were destructively maladjusted to democracy and who encouraged the rejection of fair elections in the favor of rigged ones. We witnessed figures who were destructively maladjusted to facts, who spread conspiracy theories about the threat to America of Satan-worshiping pedophiles that led to some of our citizens to commit acts of violence. And a little more than 2 years ago, we witnessed thousands of our fellow citizens who were destructively maladjusted to the will of the people when they attempted a coup. They were egged on by the treacherous words of figures who were true traitors to our noble ideals of democracy and justice. These rioters looted, occupied, and vandalized the United States Capitol. And despite their claim that blue lives matter, they assaulted Capitol police officers. They shamelessly carried out an insurrection before our eyes. That is the sort of destructive maladjustment that Dr. King warned us against. And that behavior is why he said we must practice creative maladjustment to the ills of our lives. Of course, we must never forget that we should be creatively maladjusted to racism. Yes, my sisters and brothers, it is sad, and it is so sad that our youth have to see us still fighting, but hopefully they will join in this cause. We are still fighting against maladjusted racism and oppression. We must never become used to it. We must never see it as necessary. We must never see it as normal, and we surely should never see it as inevitable. Yes, it has stayed with us for more than a couple of centuries. Yes, it has ruined millions of Black people and others. Yes, it has damaged our society and ravaged our land. And yet we must fight against it with all our breath, belief, and bodies. We are at this very moment embroiled in bitter fights across this country. Those who oppose CRT, and let's truly be honest, many who oppose CRT don't know the difference between it and what the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin, called TCB.
Yes.
The fight against CRT and so-called wokeness is really a fight against Black history, Black freedom, Black justice, and Black resistance.
Yep.
CRT is a creative maladjustment to legal theory. It insists that race and class and culture make a big difference in how we apply the law to either achieve or block justice. The politicians and activists who are fighting so-called wokeness often seek to ban books too. Books by Toni Morrison, children's books about Rosa Parks, and yes, our beloved Dr. King. What they are really seeking to ban is American history.
Right.
And let's remember that American history involves telling the truth about slavery. Not only the truth about slavery, but the truth about Jim Crow, Jane Crow, white supremacy, anti-Blackness, and the attack on people of color. We must be creatively maladjusted to hatred of history. The fight against facts, trials against truth, war against wokeness, the battle against Black people, and Black progress. Racism shows up in all kinds of places. It's not just a white person calling us the N-word. It shows up when we are overcharged for inferior food and consumer goods. It shows up when we are unjustly denied loans. It shows up when we are unnecessarily followed through stores. It shows up when we suffer microaggressions at work. It shows up when our kids are under attack in undersourced schools. It shows up when teachers are forcing our children in elementary schools to reenact slavery. It shows up when we the last ones hired and the first ones fired. It shows up when the police harass, harm, and hurt us. Just think of it, my friends. It was not that long ago that we witnessed with our very eyes the knee of someone who was supposed to serve and protect, kill, murder George Floyd. But the knee of an unjust system is still on the necks of our collective body. And it was just on January 3rd, you all may have heard about it, 31-year-old teacher, Keenan Anderson, tased 6 times by the LAPD. He, according to his family, was experiencing a mental health crisis.
Right.
It was he who flagged down the police for help. And it is he who is now no longer with us.
Yep.
And right here in Birmingham, you know about the ugly history of police brutality with the terrorist tactics of Bull Connor. Birmingham knows about police dogs and fire hoses being turned on Black flesh to discourage them from seeking justice. Birmingham knows about the evils of racial violence. Birmingham knows about bombings, so much so that you were named Birmingham. Birmingham knows about the trauma of white supremacy when 4 little girls, Addie Mae Collins, Cynthia Diane Wesley, Carol Rosamond Robertson, and Carol Denise McNair were bombed to their heavenly homes while they studied and worshiped in the 16th Street Baptist Church. But Reverend Fred Shuttlesworth practiced creative maladjustment to Birmingham's blasphemous bigotry. Yes, they beat him with chains and baseball bats and brass knuckles and stabbed his wife, Ruby. But he kept on being creatively maladjusted to justice. They tried to bomb his church, but he kept being creatively maladjusted through the Alabama Christian Movement of Human Rights and Project C, which stood for confrontation. They tried to clip his wings so he couldn't fly above the horizon of hate, But now, when you fly into this city, as I did, you fly into the Birmingham Shuttlesworth International Airport. Like Reverend Fred Shuttlesworth and the blessed brothers and sisters of Birmingham, we must remain committed to being creatively maladjusted to injustice. But that injustice does not just mean race, it's about gender too. There's a great deal of tension and conflict in our movement of freedom because we have often denied women recognition and their just due in the struggle. We must be creatively maladjusted when it comes to injustice of sexism in our culture.
Yes.
Don't forget that it was Rosa Parks who jump-started a movement when she refused to give up her seat on a bus and took us all on a ride of freedom throughout Montgomery. Don't forget, it was Professor Joanne Robinson of Alabama State College and leader of the Women's Political Council that helped start and shape the Montgomery bus boycott long before the men got involved.
Right.
Don't forget Daisy Bates, a civil rights activist and leader with the NAACP, publisher of a black newspaper, the Arkansas State Press, and a lecturer who played a significant role in advising the Little Rock Nine students who integrated public schools in Arkansas. Don't forget Diane Nash, who led the charge to integrate lunch counters in Nashville, helped lead the Freedom Riders to desegregate interstate travel, and who co-founded the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, which we know as SNCC, and helped to lead the Selma voting rights movement. And don't forget Ella Baker, who was the first staff person for Dr. King's Southern Christian Leadership Conference, a NAACP stalwart, a fiercely independent leader and thinker, and the inspiring figure behind the leaders of SNCC. And don't forget Septima Clark, who created the citizenship education program at Highlander Folk School so she could increase black voter registration.
September.
And don't you dare forget Fannie Lou Hamer, who was a sharecropper and became a legendary leader who fought white supremacy and uttered the immortal words that I'm sure all of you can join in me in saying. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And don't forget Mary McLeod Bethune, who was an iconic activist for racial justice and a fierce advocate for education, who founded what became Bethune-Cookman University. Don't forget Dorothy Height, who was a great civil rights leader, every bit as important as every man who tried to suppress her voice. But they couldn't keep her quiet because her voice came through as the head of the National Council of Negro Women. And don't forget Shirley Chisholm, who became the first black woman to be elected to Congress, winning her seat in New York in 1968. And she eventually ran for president, the first woman, not just black woman, first woman of a major political party to run for president. Don't forget about Anna Julia Cooper, born enslaved in 1858 and became the fourth woman to earn a PhD in America, on her way to becoming a renowned scholar and the mother of black feminism with her book, A Voice from the South. And don't forget Pauli Murray. Pauli Murray, remember that name.
Yes.
Today, she may be considered and may have acknowledged herself as non-binary. Pauli Murray was the only woman in her class at Howard University School of Law. She graduated at the top of her class. It was because of her work as a law student that Justice Thurgood Marshall changed the theory of his case during the Brown v. Board of Education case. It was because of Pauli Murray that Ruth Bader Ginsburg became who we know as Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She became the first black woman ordained as an Episcopal priest, and she invented the term you heard me say earlier, Jane Crow, to capture the unique oppression suffered by black women. Black women have worked tirelessly and bravely to combat racial oppression while fighting gender oppression in white and black worlds. We must be creatively maladjusted to poisonous patriarchy, sick sexism, malicious misogyny. Finally, we must be creatively maladjusted to classism. Tragically, some of us believe we better than others. We got a little bit of education, we got our car, our house, our job,
It's Bill Cosby
but
said,
that does not make you better
a car,
than our less
a
fortunate
garage,
brothers and
and
sisters.
2.5 too.
In the Bible, Luke 12:14 reminds us, to whom much is given, much will be required. So if you have a lot, you must give a lot. If you have privilege, you must share that privilege with others. If you have been blessed, then as the songstress Patti LaBelle said, pass it on.
Yes.
Dr. King died helping sanitation workers in Memphis. He didn't consider himself above the fray, and certainly not above their station in life. He considered men who collected garbage for a living to be the furthest thing from garbage themselves. He considered them precious children of God, worth giving his life for. Dr. King, in echoing his teacher, the great mystic Howard Thurman, insisted that we are joined together in a common quest for justice and dignity. He said that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. And as I end, I want to remind you that we are all in the same boat as Black folk and great citizens of goodwill. Dr. King, in his address to the American Psychological Association, argued that our world is in dire need of a new organization, the International Association for the Advancement of Creative Maladjustment. I don't know about you, but I'm proud of the NAACP and a proud member. The Urban League, Rainbow Push, National Action Network, the National Council of Negro Women, Black Women's Roundtable, and so many other organizations. But it is time for all of us to join the IAACM, the International Association for the Advancement of Creative Maladjustment. Woo. When we join that group, we realize that nothing is impossible and that good things can come true if we insist on being creatively maladjusted to injustice. And when we are creatively maladjusted, we realize that anything can happen because, like Dr. King, we never give up hope. For those who say that it is impossible to successfully fight injustice, please remember that Dr. King said we must never lose hope and surrender to despair. He said this even as he himself waged war with his own battle with mental health issues. He attempted suicide twice before the age of 13, and he wrestled mightily with depression throughout his adulthood. We must confront the hazards and perils of neglecting our mental health. And like Dr. King, face our dark days as much as with bright hope as we can muster, and to help ourselves with the help of our friends, with the help of our family, and with the help of trained professionals. If there is any lesson in Dr. King's struggles with depression, it is that we must seek professional aid as we battle our own psychological challenges. And as the great Seamus Heaney reminds us, anything can happen. Anything can happen. The tallest towers be overturned. Those in high places daunted. Those overlooked regarded. So I remind you, my friends, keep going. because anything can happen. Keep marching toward truth and justice, because anything can happen. Keep hoping, because anything can happen. Keep believing, because anything can happen. They said political manipulation and hate couldn't be defeated, but we've defeated them, because anything could happen. They said that fascist leaning and autocratic impulses couldn't be stopped, but we stopped them, because anything can happen. They said we couldn't make Dr. King's birthday a national holiday, but we made it come true, because anything can happen. They said a woman would never become vice president, but we have a black woman who did, because anything can happen. They said a black man would never become president, but he did, because anything can happen. They said a black woman would never become a Supreme Court justice, but she did, because anything can happen. And you, my brothers and sisters, can come and become creatively maladjusted to injustice, because anything can happen. Let us keep being creatively maladjusted until all the good we are seeking, all the good that we are searching for, all the good that we are working for becomes a reality. God bless the memory of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and God bless you all.